This is part 3 of the Olympia prediction. Moving into the classic division, I don't see anybody coming in and beating Chris Bumstead. He's too well-rounded. His physique is made for classic. Like, he's just perfect proportions, bone like hip to shoulder structure is just. I honestly, I don't see anybody coming in and beating him. I just don't, especially with the weight class increases this past year. It gives him even more room to add on size. And I remember how everyone's jaw dropped the year he incorporated deadlifts back into his training regimen, and how big his back and his posterior chain kind of blew up. Compared to Breon that year, I don't see anybody taking him down. I do have Ramon holding down that second spot. I don't see anybody really coming in and giving him a go. So those two guys, I think, are going to stay put. And Chris is usually really consistent on his basically his leanness and his being shredded on stage. He really hasn't shown being off at all, even at a slight percentage. So I'd be very shocked to see Chris come in off that 1 to 2%. He's been pretty consistent, as is Ramon as of late, the last couple of years. So like I said, I see those guys holding down those two spots. Getting into the 3, 4, 5, that's where you start tending to kind of veer off path. Breon is making a comeback as far as his social media is concerned. He's making a comeback to the classic division this year. He looks pretty good compared to his previous years. He looks really shredded. So I do see Breon coming in that third spot. But close to him, and I mean very close, would be Terrence Ruffin. Terrence is brought up his physique quite remarkably over the last year as well. Put on some added muscle, and he recently just won this weekend. So I see Terrence fighting for that third spot with Breon, and I see those two kind of going back and forth with that third and fourth spot. Coming in the fifth spot, that's where kind of you have that, again, numerous amount of people that can kind of jump in there. You have Alex Cabanero, who I've actually competed against. He just won the Masters. Olympia. Who else do you have? Quite a few guys that you can just kind of jump back and forth. So there are so many guys in that class. I'm just looking at the list. You're looking at like over 20 competitors in the classic division. So it's gonna be a well-depth class, and there are a lot of new guys coming in that have that size, especially with that weight increase this previous year. You're gonna have some guys that are gonna be competing for some of those top spots. So it'd be nice to see like a new face come in. But those top 4 spots, I think, are kind of hammered home. You have the Chris Bumstead and Ramon top 2, and you have Breon and Terrence going for that 3rd and 4th spot. 5th, I think, just put a bunch of names in the hat and pull one out. It all depends on who comes in shredded and who comes in peeled. So that's where it jumps from person to person, and it all depends on that coming in at that 1 to 2%, and just hammering home your final week's prep and getting that peak on stage. So that would be my prediction for the classic division. And as much as everybody else, I am very much looking forward to this year's Olympia. And watching the highlights and seeing all the winners. So I will say it will be a somber moment not seeing Ian on the open stage, as he just retired. But Ian Vallier has been one of the top guys in Canada for quite a number of years. So I had sad to see him go, but completely understand his his choice for retiring. So props to Ian Valliere, and he had a wicked career and one of the most prosperous Canadian pros that we've ever produced. So props to him, and to whatever he moves on to. So anyways, those are my predictions for this year's Mr. Olympia 2023. Hope you guys all watch the show if you're not going in person, and see if you guys can predict the top 3 or top 5. So that's it for me.